sure you stay in good conversation. You gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette, that's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. We're back, and it is a little bit after the top of the hour. So happy that you stayed tuned in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. You know, from 7 to 8, we had the Son of Man in the Nation of Islam, and we were revisiting the conversation that I presented to us for this week, that when natural disaster and man-made disasters come together, if you will, when they collide, how they collide. Do you think that your everyday experience is a disaster when you are poor, when you are without means? And hear me, poor doesn't always mean the literal sense. It could be poor in thought, poor in spirit, poor in how you look at things, perspective. You can be poor, and then that shapes your existence. And so I wanted us to continue the conversation because if you all don't know me by now, I feel like, what is it? Simply Red had that song, If You Don't Know Me By Now. If you all don't know me by now, you're never going to know me. You know how I am. We're going to be presented with something, and then we need to take it to the next level. We don't stay with the symptoms, we get with the issues. We're going to take a deeper dive. And so I'm asking you right now, and this is freestyle time. So there's any topic that you want to discuss, we can discuss it. Any insight that you want to give, you can. I want to stay on this topic, and just more so in who we are on the inside, because if we really understood who we were on the inside, I don't believe that any of this would be an issue for us. And bless my grandpa, Papa Willie Ramsey, he always would pray to be strengthened in the inner man. When I was young, I would hear that, and I didn't understand it, but I knew that if my papa was praying it, then it had to be right. And so when you're older and you get through life and you're supposed to have that walk with God, that higher being. I didn't say anything about church and religion. I didn't say anything about that. I said God, when you have a connection and an understanding of God in your life, then you understand your inner man. So that no matter what is going on in this life, all is well. And in that sincere search, that when things are presented to you, you will not be complacent to say, it is what it is. Oh, it's what it is. It can't be any different. This is my situation. You won't take no for an answer. Someone can't sit and just tell you, oh, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. That will never sit well with you when you understand who you are in Christ. And yeah, I said it. And I'm not trying to be on a soapbox, and I'm not trying to, however people would say, but I'm just saying what the truth is. No matter what comes before you. I mean, you have to start believing in those words that you profess. You have to believe that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. That's what you have to believe. Because when you then believe it and you ask for sincere truth and guidance, then it'll be given to you. That's that voice inside of you that when you honestly and you are still and you say, God, help me. Please give me the answer. God, please protect me. Please remove certain people and certain situations away from me. Please help me. And when it starts happening, you don't understand why. And so maybe that's a little bit too philosophical for you. Let me just make it real simple for us. I'm going to give us a couple of scenarios. So when you're in a situation, if you're in a relationship, and what you believe is a relationship or what you identified as a relationship, and it's not working out really well for you, and you ask or you want that person to do other certain things and they're not doing them, and you ask God if this is for me, and you are truthful in it, your inner man, and you say, please, if this is for me, allow it to be for me, and if not, remove it from me. And then when it's removed, when that person disappears, when that person does something and remove themselves, and then you question and you keep trying to get them back, you asked for the door to be open. The door was open and they were pushed out, and then you want to bring them back. Does that relate to you? You ask God for an opportunity because what you thought was going to be for you didn't show up the way that you thought it was, and before you know it, you got a phone call. You walked into a room where there was something sitting right there for you. So what you thought was for you, it didn't look that way. I'll do you one better. You have a job that you can't stand. How's that? A situation happens and then they remove you from the job. They put you on leave for a couple of weeks. And then you say, oh my goodness, how am I going to pay my bills? What's going to happen to me? So either you learn to create a backup plan in that job and understand the value of that job and the resources that it gives, and then set a plan for you so that you will never be in a dire strait when something like that happens, and or if that happens again, you can remove yourself because you asked for that. Situations happen in your life, and if you are open and keen to what is happening because that's what you asked for, the sincerity of your intent, then you can be able to maneuver through it. I can only speak to you from my personal experiences. I share with you all the issue with my family, my dad being a disabled police officer since the time I was 2. And for 32 years, they still kept him as a disabled police officer, but not receiving disability. And so how do you expect him to be able to live? And all the attorneys and everybody said, oh no, he'll never become duty disabled. They never took him from workers' comp to duty disabled, especially as a black man in the 70s on the police department of the city of Detroit. And everybody said no. And I grew up my whole life hearing everybody say no, and how is this, and why is this? And when I became of age and was able to complete school and then be able to take on the financial responsibilities of supporting my family, and everybody keeps telling me no. And I said, God, please help me. And so 32 years later, was able to get him granted duty disability back to 72, 71. And all the attorneys ask, how did you do it? We don't understand how this happens. It's God, man. It's God. You don't take no for an answer. You don't put your fate in the hands of a man or a woman or a human. Do you get that? So now whatever comes before me, it's never a situation of what we can't do. You sit still and you ask for peace, and the answers will come to you. A resource will be given to you. Someone will be brought to your remembrance, and you can make a phone call, you can send a text, if you can remove yourself out of your chaos. Because see, that's all the distraction. That's all the distortion. That's everything that blocks you from having a clear mind to connect with spirit so that you can move that drama out of the way and walk in your purpose. It's really that simple. But when we keep pointing fingers and we keep blaming everybody else and we keep saying it's the wrong elected official and we keep saying that what they're not giving us and we keep saying how we can't make it right, you can't ever make it right. You won't have the mindset to be able to make it right because you're not open to it, because you've let all this clutter and everybody else's stuff, you take on everybody else's stuff. And you focus on stuff that you shouldn't even be paying attention to. And then you wonder why you can't go anywhere. Do you wonder why we're still having the same conversations about civil rights? Do you wonder why we're still having the conversations about voting rights acts? Do you wonder why we're still having a conversation about fair housing, adequate employment, blight in the city? Do you wonder why? Because at some point, we don't take the ownership for who we're supposed to be. And no matter what is happening around you, that you are the author and finisher. You are. You. In the true sense of your inner man. But if you never connect with that, you'll be a dog chasing its tail. And that will be the story of your life. And so when you sit with your children and your great-grandchildren or your grandchildren, and they'll say, Mom or Pop, what is it that you have for me? What is it? I was having a conversation with my dad, and great morning to you, parents, and we were talking about what, the season of life looks like, and my parents are in their 70s, and what my desire was for them to have and where they were. And my dad was saying what his desire was to be able to afford me. And I told him, Dad, it's good. Right now, I am the best me right now. Right now, from all the life experiences and the truth and diligently seeking God in my life, it is the best me. So there is nothing physically on this earth that it is that I will desire and won't be able to have if it means anything. It's really about what your impact is going to be. It's not about all this other stuff. You can get all this stuff and you'll still want more stuff, and then the stuff will still mean nothing. And then what? And I'm not saying not to get stuff if that's what you want, if you feel that you need that in your existence, but I'm just challenging you to go a little deeper. It's how you interact with individuals. It's what the conversation is. It's what the impact is. And a lot of times, even if you have to remove yourself from situations, you hope that the conversations that you had at that time, that your action from who you say you are and what you say you are, that your actions will show that it's better for somebody else. That's why we think a little bit. That's why it'll be a little different in our communities. Maybe you'll make the conscious effort to be better for yourself. I'm going to go to the line. Thanks for your patience. That's what I'm thinking about. That's where I am right now this morning. And I present that to you all as we are preparing to take the children back to school. Are you prepared for that responsibility? There has to be balance. I was looking at a clip and I shared that with my sister friends, Jada Pinkett Smith. She had, they used to do that red table, they called it, with her mother and her daughter Willow, and they would talk about issues. And she talked about how you have to take care of yourself. And as women, a lot of times, everything in us literally goes out of the window to take care of those we love. And Jada mentioned what it was like that she constantly gave to take care of Will, and constantly gave to take care of Willow, and constantly gave to take care of Jaden. And that's what she did, probably to the extent of she couldn't do anything else and give any more for herself. And then when she did that, she then started placing blame and then had these false expectations on everyone else, that you're supposed to make me happy and you're supposed to be able to look out for me and you're supposed to make it better for me, when the truth is all of it's on the inside. And so if she didn't learn how to balance who she is, and how to replenish who she is, she can't be good for anyone else. And the truth is that the balanced her is what's better for everyone else. So the balance you is what's better for you, what's better for your family, what's better for your community. If you slow down and take the time to even understand what it is, and to truly take the time to say, you know what, it's okay. I can breathe. I can take a break. I need that in my life. I need to be able to be still so that I can reconnect. But all that happens when you're truthful in the inside, the inner man. So what I'm going to do, if you all allow me, I see all the lines are lit. I'm going to go there. But I want to share this clip with you. It's KRS-One. He's talking about the fifth dimension. I want us to experience that, and then I'm going to go to the line. Shall we?
There's an exercise where, we could say this, rock star energy drink. Wow, I just put that in history. See how quick history come up right there. Rock star energy drink. Those that want to do the exercise, We're going to say rock star to ourselves without opening our mouths, without saying anything outside. We're going to say this to ourselves. We're going to say rock star to ourselves. Don't say it out loud at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now the question to ask, if you've said rock star in your mind, the question to ask is, what voice is that? What voice is that? What voice just spoke? You just said rock star without moving your mouth at all. On top of that, you on top of saying rock star, you heard yourself say rock star. How can you hear yourself say rock star and no vibration of sound has happened? See, this puts a different perspective on what sound actually is. And what memory is. Memory's not in the brain, memory's in the soul. The only thing you take with you after this life is your memories or your knowledge, your experiences. That's the only thing you take. Unless you study Egypt culture, they believe you can take all their stuff with you on the other side. Just as a side note. But if you said rock star in your mind or in your being is the true answer, is the true statement. In your being, what was that voice? What was the voice that spoke and then you heard yourself speaking? But these ears did not hear you say anything because your mouth didn't move. So the ears didn't hear it, the mouth did not move, but you spoke and you heard yourself speaking. If you close your eyes, you can see this better. If you close your eyes and put this image in another sight, if you close your eyes, you can still see this. What is the sight that can see your future? These two eyes don't see the future. These two eyes don't see the past. Yet, you can see your past and you can see your future. You can actually see your past. What is the sight that can see beyond time? Don't give it away. This is an ancient meditation. This is an ancient meditation that I am not the flesh. I am the energy, the consciousness, the being in the flesh. And this is proof. This is no faith. This is not religion. This is actual fact. You can speak without moving your mouth. You can hear without ears. You can see without eyes. So what happens when these eyes, this mouth, and this ear drops off into the grave? These other senses are all you're left with. Death is an illusion. Once you realize this, you live your life more courageously. Now, no one wants to die before their time, so you try to protect yourself. But know that this body is the limitation of you. It is not your zenith. It is not your ultimate. Your ultimate is that voice that just said rock star. That voice that just said rock star without nothing physical moving, that person is immortal. That person is not here with you. Let's go deeper. The body is in, 3 dimensions, right? Forward, back, right, left, up, down, and time. 4th dimension. 3 dimensions plus time. That's our physical reality. Front, back, right, left, up, down, that's 3D plus time. What happened to in and out? Look at the English thought. Back, forth, right, left, up, down, no in and out. No in and out. What is in and out? Rock star. Rock star says, I exist without the body. So where is this other existence? Where is it? It's not here. It's not in three-dimensional space where you really are. The person that said this is in a whole different dimension. Just switch a little bit. Talk to yourself more. Affirm to yourself more. Don't move none of this. No, close this down and go within and say, I am the greatest ... ever. I have all my needs coming with speed. I am a being of love and light and knowledge. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Whatever it is, have your affirmation on your tongue. Or, sorry, in your being. This is how the gods created this whole reality. The first humans, imagine, the first humans, they came from inner space. They came out. Study the Anunnakis. They came out of inner space. Not from outer space. Inner space. Rockstar. Before there was a body, there was this voice traveling in this voice's dimension. To get here to the earth, the inner voice created this outer extension of itself to be in this dimension. Once you realize that you are not just in this dimension, but you're also in another dimension, you now are free. Because whatever happens to you here in this dimension is not your only reality. See, this is how Jesus was able to get beaten and brutalized and hang on the cross. He wasn't here. He was the rock star. Inside, he went to the inner man. Do what you want with the body. I'm not here. Now, once you realize that level of consciousness, where you are officially, you identify yourself as the spirit, not the flesh. You are the inner voice, not the outer voice. Once you become the inner voice, now your outer voice has power. Now when you speak, it's not just a shell speaking. There's a being speaking through the shell. And this is where you heal all sickness in your body. This is where you command reality to work with you, and it works according to your consciousness. Why? Because it's not a shell that's speaking. There's a real being in the shell that is speaking. And when the real being speaks, all nature and the universe respond.
If you want to play that video again, you can go. It's KRS-One, the fifth dimension. That when you are aligned, your inner man, the reality, everything out will fall in alignment to what it is that you need. You will be aligned. The universe will bend itself to what you need. I want you all to get it. I'm going to go to the line. I know it was a lot. I know that's a lot for you on Friday. I know you might not want to have this conversation, but we're going to have it on today. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
Happy Friday.
Oh, happy Friday to you.
Every time you're on, you are absolutely on point.
Oh, thank you.
I am the energy to be free, happily, spiritually, prosperously, lovingly, forgivingly, safely, protecting,
Yes.
consciously living. I am the inner voice
Yes.
that heals and lives.
Yes.
I love it. You are right on point.
No, we just amen. Because all you need is another person in agreement. It only has to be two of us. You all get that. So the two of us, we agree.
You need to know who I am is in the first place.
Yeah.
If you don't know who I am is, nothing else matters.
Yes.
We have to stop giving consent to other people and other things and understand who I am is.
Yes.
And give yourself the power that it takes to live. Love you.
Love you more. Thank you.
I'm
Thank
hearing
you.
Claude
Everyone, I mean, do you
Anderson.
get that? If you just say that to yourself right now, where you are, if you speak those affirmations, you feel it on your inside. There
That's
is
right.
nothing that cannot give you joy. If you just
That's
heard what she shared, I am. I
right.
am love. I am peace. I am enough. I am kind. I am
That's right.
forgiving. I am
Yes,
compassionate. I am positive.
that's right.
If you speak those things, it will fill you up and it will radiate from you. So when you think about when someone does something crazy to you, because you know what happens, that's what happens.
Yes.
When you fill
Yes.
yourself up and you're good and your energy's right, that's when stuff starts coming at you. So you don't have to know that. So you should know that when the more stuff comes at you, you're doing what you're supposed to do. When the more stuff comes at you, like, okay, God, I
Yes.
know I'm moving in where I'm supposed to, because it's going to come at you to try to get you off your square.
That's right.
So when it's
That's
coming
right.
at you and you get ready to say some words to some people real strong, or you get ready to do something, you just got to catch yourself. You got to catch
That's
yourself
right.
and say, okay, God, because that's taking me off my square. So God, please, guess what? I had a situation yesterday. Had a situation, some crazy stuff was happening. I said, okay, just let me just be still for a minute. Lord, let me pray for that person who is creating this negativity, because I know they don't know any better.
That's right.
I know that they don't know any better, because if they did, they wouldn't do what they do, because it's only going to come back on them. Do you all realize when crazy stuff is happening, and especially at the hands of other individuals, they're suffering. They're not winning. There's no win. There's no W for them. They are
Mm-mm.
suffering on the inside. They live with that. That is in their inner man. That's them having to be accountable, but you don't have to be pulled into that. If you are conscious enough in truth to say, you know what, God, help them and help me with an answer. As soon as I did that, 3 minutes
Mm-hmm.
later, it
Yep.
came to me. Made a phone call. Things started moving the way that
That's
they
right.
should move outside of someone else's crazy, you all.
That's right.
It's the
Mm.
truth. So anything that we see as a problem, it can change.
That's
Right
right.
like that. It can change. But when you stay mired in that negativity, mired in the, oh, they look at them, oh,
That's right.
why they can't. Don't you feel bad when you even say that?
That's right.
Isn't that
Oh, yes.
hurtful in your spirit? And the next thing you know, you're down. And you just, it's
And
like the cloud. You know that cloud? What was it on Charlie Brown? Who's that? Somebody, they walk in a cloud, just walks with them, like wherever you go. It's
yep,
like
yeah.
just the
What
dark.
about Slap Rock? Every time Slap Rock walked in the room, everything would just haywire.
That's
Everybody
right.
ran for cover. You had to run for cover. But that's how you know you're on your square when things like that come at you. That's
Yes.
how you know you're in the right place. You're in the peaceful place that you're supposed to be in.
That's
But I
right.
wanted to mention, I think Claude Anderson is coming to WC3 downtown. So
Oh,
when you get that confirmation, make sure we get that information.
oh, absolutely. Yes, everyone. Dr. Claude Anderson, one of my professors, black labor, white wealth. Oh, absolutely. I'm going to get on that so I can bring that to everyone, because, we can't miss the information now. We just can't, because all that information makes us better. I so appreciate your call. Thank you so much. Going to go to the line. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, salt is not innate. Salt is objective. when you got five senses,
Oh, Brother Tyrone.
cold is not internal.
Okay.
Your senses detect the sensation of cold from the objective world. And everything else. That guy that talks about rock star, he's using language, the objective language of someone else. But he declared what he said it silent in thought to himself. That was an inner man. But it was not. Because we know sensation is outside the body. So you bring a child into being, into birth, you birth a child. The child is a computer, has to register everything outside it. That's why if he's in China, he ends up speaking Chinese language and not English. So therefore, I've heard that theory before, back in 18-something with Berkeley. And that theory is the theory that's attuned to what he was saying, to I, me, and my. And when that mother takes that child to school that you were talking about, has nothing to do when the school said when the Financial Review Commission in Lansing said we're going to close that school. I don't care what she thinks internally, it's not going to change that reality. So I think when you're dealing with thought from a metaphysical idealist point of view, then it don't match up with life.
Okay, so wait, brother Tyrone, and stay right there. And let me just ask you this. You know, every time you call in, and I'm just gonna say this. I mean, is there anything that you believe that will make your situation better? Because it just appears to me that every time, hold on, I need to ask you this. Because every time you call into my show, it is always the doom and gloom. I get your facts, as you say. I believe that there's statistics. I understand policy. I understand government. I understand people. I understand human nature. But just you, is there anything that you believe you can do that makes it better for you? Not for everybody else, but better for you and your condition where you are right now.
Well, I try to do anything that's within my ability to make it better for me. When it's time for me to, that grass needs to be cut, I go out there and that makes it better for me. I do that. But I live in a society. And living in a society, I live in a society that right now I'm living in an autocratic rule from Lansing. It has nothing. It's on all of us. We're all suffering from that. So I, me, and my.
We don't.
You know, yes, I do things to make it better for me, but I can't do anything about them taking and cleaning this whole box with housing policies coming from downtown by the mayor. I must be with others to stop that. I can't internalize that in some thought. And in other words, like you know what you were saying next to that I'm a figuration of your mind. I'm not a figuration of your mind.
I wasn't saying
that. And you're
that.
not a figuration of my mind.
I wasn't saying that. And let me just tell you this. And the reason, let me say this. Let me say this. And the reason why I know it can be different because I lived it, Brother Tyrone. Can you imagine? No. Let me just say this. Can you imagine seeing someone that you love suffer every day? And so that's like me calling down to the city and saying, hey, my dad hurts. Where's his health insurance? Oh, well, he's supposed to have it, but he doesn't have it. Okay, well, but he needs to go to the doctor because he worked for you and he was hurt by this job of protecting the people, but he can't get the services. Oh, well, but he's supposed to have it and he's hurt. And so I'm supposed to sit there and say, okay, well, that's just what happened, and that's what they say, and that's just where we're going to be. Do you know if I sat there and created that because this is the government and this is what they do, where my dad, thank God he is living in the wholeness of who he is, but he might not even be living right now if I accepted in my mind that premise that what they say is my reality. And that I did, and I could move beyond that. Hold on, because this is me talking. And that I can move beyond that. Regardless of what I see in this physical world, regardless of what they tell me in this physical world, if I would have stood right there, everything would have fallen apart. So I'm just so tired of that. I'm tired of it. And if that's how you want to live your life, that is great for you. But I think it's disingenuous to call and share that defeatist mindset with people on my show. I appreciate the statistics that you give. You're a learned man. You give a historical perspective. I understand all of that. And so in the midst of all of that, that does not have to be where we stand. That does not have to be all that there is. And if we could finally understand to take that slavery mindset, like I shared before, the poor are constantly talking about how the people govern them badly. The rich aren't governed at all. It's a mindset. But it has to start somewhere. If you already know that it's against you, fine. That's what we know. Now, how are you going to fix it? What are you going to do differently? But see, maybe that goes back to what we're taught. So if you're constantly taught that, oh, this is where you're supposed to be, and this is your lot in life, and oh, you're black, you're colored, you're this, you're that, you came up this little bit that they gave you, they not going to give you this is the society you live in, and then you just stay there. And so that's just where you'll stay. And so in this physical existence, that is just where you'll be. But for the rest of us who don't prescribe to that, who know that there's more to that, that you can think and you can move, and in your inner man, you pray for guidance because it's faith and works, and you can get it done. I am proof of that. You can't tell me, you can't call this show and try to tell me that it doesn't work, because it worked for me and my family. And I take that premise and share it with everyone that I meet, everywhere that I go. It does not have to appear easy, but you can do it. You put your mind to it. You determine the outcome and you work at it. And people will be put in your path to open this door, to open that door. It took 20 years to fix it, Brother Tyrone, but it was fixed. 20 years, sacrifice, but it was fixed. You can't tell me it can't be done. You can't keep telling me about how all these people, what they say with the government. Man, bye. Stop it. Stop. If we keep doing that, if we keep living like that, it will never be better for us. Period. And as I shared in the onset, you have to be good and whole and right to have a positive impact on someone else's life. And when you are, it is a trickle effect. It will be better for us. Individual then becomes us. But if you are mired in being oppressed, because that's what they taught you, that's what you see, that's this illusion of life. It's like in the Matrix, it's the red pill or the green pill. So either you can live in the illusion that this is what it is and you can't do any more, or you can remove yourself outside of that and realize if you think, use this up here and this in here, then it will make a difference for you. But we don't do that. We just regurgitate all the information that was given. And we regurgitate and we accept who they say we are and what we can and cannot do. I don't care what it looks like all around me. Stuff could be falling all down. If I believe that I can make it better, it will be better through Christ in me. That is my prayer. Then I will do the work. But by God's grace, it is already laid out. I got to step into it. And half of us won't even step into it. We're not even astute enough to understand what stepping into it is, because we're so mired down by all this stuff they say and what we see, and we can't do better for ourselves. Period. So on that note, I'm going to go to the line because I'm a little excited about it right now, because we can't be better if we keep that mindset. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you. Are you there?
Good morning, Collette.
Good morning.
You know, when this dude talks about fifth, that idea or that theory has been out for more than 10,000 years.
Okay.
You got a group of black guys in East Africa. These guys are called the Dogon. They've been knew about the fifth dimension. And you're right. You have to look within yourself to find out what's going on, and you can actually raise yourself to that fifth dimension. What others are doing now, they're keeping you from reaching that fifth dimension.
Yep.
They have done is during slavery and after slavery, they have locked you into a European ideology of what civilization is.
Yes.
The only thing bad about this is that the Europeans have taken civilization and life and turned it around and made it backwards. Prior to you meeting them, you didn't have no brothers in jail.
Right.
You didn't have no drugs.
Right.
95% of the disease on planet Earth was not here
Yeah.
until they came.
Yeah.
And until you realize who you are, you're going to realize that Americans blacks were already in America.
Yes.
This idea of a white caveman called himself a Jew who said he took part in building the pyramid is a great lie.
Right.
The idea of black people eating white men
Yes.
is a great lie.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? It's one of the idea of a red man being here in America is a great lie. White people had nothing to do with building no pyramid. The pyramid
Right.
took skilled tradesmen to do it. In addition to that, every last one of them got paid.
Mm-hmm.
There were more than 20,000 people working on each pyramid that has ever been built on this planet at one time. Their houses were built around the site where the pyramid was being built.
Okay.
You had people who was cutting down timber. You had people who was quarrying rocks. You had people who was bringing the rocks on boats. You had, and so it was so many people. But the main thing is that the Europeans have taken you outside of what you really are.
That's right.
So I agree with you that you must think of what you are outside of all of the United States, from the beginning of the United States
Yes.
until now.
Yes.
You know, I can understand the brother crying in the wilderness about where we're going and what has happened and what's going to happen to the earth. All of that is true. But you must understand that this man has put you in a box.
Yeah.
America is nothing but a box.
Yeah.
So when you think outside that box,
Right.
you can find yourself.
Yes.
And the only way you can do that is to go back to your train of thought prior to coming in contact with this beast.
Yes.
And ain't no preacher going to help you. Ain't no teacher going to help you. Ain't nobody. And marching in the street is the last thing on earth you need to do. We've done that.
Okay.
And where are we?
Right. I
Where are we
agree.
now? That we done marched to the street. We done marched to the monument with a million people. Where are you now? Are they still killing us in the street?
Yeah.
Are they still treating us like a dog?
Yeah.
Have they closed all our schools?
Yeah.
Have they laid off every black person that worked for the city of Detroit?
Yeah.
Have they robbed a pension plan?
Yeah.
Have marchers stopped that?
Right.
Have the preachers and the teachers stopped that?
Right.
No, they have not. Let me tell you one thing, and I'm going to go.
Okay.
When they were, although this story is a lie too, but just think about the idea of it.
Okay.
When they were building the Temple of Solomon,
Okay.
the first thing they did, they went around in the village and asked everybody for some money.
Okay.
It takes money to make something happen.
Right.
And they took the money and they paid the timberman and they paid the goldsmith. Everybody got paid.
Okay.
There was no slaves building no pyramid.
Okay.
These others had to create a history for themselves.
Yeah.
So they cut off part of your history and created history for themselves.
Yeah.
Even during the time of the so-called Jesus Christ, everybody who was in Jerusalem who wasn't black was an invader or a descendant of an invader. There was no white people
Right.
in Jerusalem during the time of the so-called Jesus Christ. They were invaders,
Right.
Roman invaders.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
So all of these lies stacked on top. And what's so sad about it is they teach your children this lie.
Yes.
Your little black babies you send to school, and they lie to them.
Yes.
The child 5 years old, they lie to that child from 5 to 18 about what he is and who where he came from.
Yes.
The only way you're going to find out who you are and where you came from is to ask the people who got 160,000 year history with the Father. Mm-hmm. Everything that's inside of America that come out, that's been produced in America, it's nothing but garbage.
Yeah.
You understand? And all the things they have produced, it's nothing but garbage.
Yeah.
You may not want to believe it, but their activity on this planet is what's causing all of the floods.
Yeah.
The earth is alive. If you get a cut on your arm, the first thing that's going to happen is your blood's going to start to gel up. Your antibodies is coming in and going to make a scab.
Yeah.
Well, the earth is the same.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you do something screwed up to it, all the earth is trying to do is correct itself.
Yes.
And in the process is bring it on all of these storms and stuff. Every time you hear about something that happens, it's always the worst. It has never been like this. It's only going to get worse. These Europeans have turned this planet into a wasteland. Everybody say, well, that's going to happen in the future. That's happening now.
Right.
When you can't go somewhere
Right.
and take a cup and
Right.
dip it in a lake or a stream somewhere, and it's not man-made toxins.
Yes.
It's man-made toxins. Just think about what your house.
Yes.
You flush down your toilet.
Right.
All the paint, all the gasoline,
Right.
all this stuff is going into your water.
Yeah.
You understand? So you can't go nowhere on planet Earth. When the sun sucks it up and drop it back down, he could drop come out of America on Africa. This affects our plants.
Yeah.
Our animals drink this water.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And this idiot,
Yeah.
you understand, that went and poisoned every drop of water
Yeah.
on planet Earth. In addition to that, his nuclear waste is poisoning the ground.
Yes.
Our air is only 50% of what it used to be since this man came out of the ground.
Yes.
It seems as though he's destroying all of the Father's work.
Yeah.
See, if you want to find out about God, not your own history. Your God did not begin with America. You had a father prior to America.
That's right.
You understand?
Yes.
And your doggone brothers was all into that.
Yeah.
They already know. So you ain't got no business listening to these new faiths called Christianity and Islam. They've just begun. You understand? These faiths are not even 200 years old. Why would you even listen to somebody talking Islam and Christianity?
And you know what?
You
And say
understand?
right
I know
there.
it's hard for-
Wait, and say right there. And you make a great point. And you know why? Because everybody's looking for something that they can grasp hold to. Everybody's looking for an answer. They're looking for something that will explain where they are, how they got to where they are, and where to go. Everybody's looking for answers and no one wants to look within. Because the truth is, it goes back to what we've been
Right.
talking about. That if you honor and understand who you are, they can't oppress you. They
There you
can't
go.
control you. No matter what it looks like, you don't identify with what it is that they're doing to you. So I'm going to give you the religion.
Right.
I'm going to give you the division. I'm going to give you everything that keeps you distracted from truly understanding who you are. Because as you said, if you got that, all this other stuff, okay, you looking around, okay, I see it. Okay, I expect you to do that. I expect you to do that. I know that's going to happen. Okay, I got you. That's what it is. And so then, to your point, we'll look deeper and we'll say, okay, what do we
Right.
have to do now? Not based on what somebody told
Right.
us, not based on all this other stuff that we use, because it's a distraction. And as you said, we are still on the wheel, having the same conversation,
That's right.
doing
That's
the
right.
same
That's where you at.
thing,
You on a wheel.
expecting
Like a little hamster.
on a hamster, expecting a different result. I so appreciate you.
But
Our
you know-
time is up. We're going to continue this
I gotta
on
go.
the other.
Let me say this last thing.
Please.
The faith, the faith they got out there, Islam and Christianity, was put in place to keep you passive. Why they extort you?
I believe
That's
that.
what they were put in place for. And just think about it. They didn't come into play until others invaded your land. And thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely, everyone. That's what it's about. Callers, I see I won't be able to get to the rest of you all. We'll continue this conversation on next week. I'll add something to it. I want to go out with us seeing the pieces of the clip again, if that's possible. A wonderful engineer, Mr. Watkins. Everyone, look, I believe that who you understand yourself to be, that inner man, is what makes the difference in your outer space, in your physical being. It doesn't have to be what everyone says is going to be. No one knows your story. It's not other than Supreme Being, inner man, God. No one knows your story, or you can say it hasn't even been written yet. It is happening. It is unfolding. You have to be able to connect with something deeper to be able to want more. But if we can't do that, that's why we're constantly experiencing the same thing we're experiencing, the same conversations that we're having. We're getting mad at each other because people aren't doing what we expect them to do. But you don't even know what to expect them to do because you don't even understand what it is that you really need. It's been our time today. the great conversation. I pray that you were educated, enlightened, and empowered. I pray that you will think a little bit differently, that you would just think about what we've discussed today and understand how it is applicable to everything around you and to you specifically. Thank you for your time. I don't take it for granted. To continue to stay tuned in to WHBR TV 333. Look forward to seeing you next week.